I'm so excited. Calm down. Calm down. You've done this before, so that's the biggest thing.
When they told you it was going to be today, like, how did you sleep? What was going through your head?
I couldn't sleep. I was too excited. But, just trying to calm myself down. Everybody around me was very excited. So I was just trying to be the calming piece. It's very valuable because before I'm really just going out there blind, just trying to go off of either what I see or what I know from installs. But it's different when you're out there actually moving around and you have actual receivers, not just a standing target. So it's fun just to get out there and run through the plays and communicate with the guys and just ask them what they're seeing on the field.
Did you feel you had rust to shake off today?
It's been a year since I put on shoulder pads. So throwing with my shoulder pads, I have to get accustomed to again.
You couldn't throw with them in preseason.
No, it was against the rules. Yeah, just want to get better.
Yeah.
Every day, 1%. Continue to stay in my playbook. Continue to ask questions and get better. Just being a competitor.
Yeah.
You want to get out there and compete and have fun. Do what you do. You do what you love doing. Just play football. So it's tough.
You have it, Hendon Hooker, the potential maybe future quarterback of the Detroit Lions. Who knows? But a third-round selection this year. And Wavy says, Hendon sounds like JB. LOL. JB, care to comment on that?
All I can say is I was here during practice, so I don't know who this other JB person is.
Yeah, you guys are about the same height, I would say.
I'm pretty sure he's taller than me. Yeah.
Hey, 25. Hey, I'm trying to stick up for maybe there's ladies listening. JB 6'4", he's jacked, all that stuff. Trying to gas him up. But Hendon Hooker, he's a specimen. But Hendon Hooker, man, it's exciting, and you could just tell he's just a good dude. He's a good dude, and of course he wants to succeed in the NFL. He mentioned in talking to the media that he's excited to get back to compete against this defense to show that he belongs in the NFL. And there's a lot of things to like about a guy like Hendon Hooker, right? The mobility, the arm talent, all that stuff. He mentioned how he has to get used to not being in shotgun all the time. That was what they did a lot at Tennessee. There is a learning curve. That's why I think for anybody in their right mind that thinks there is even a chance, if Jared were to, and hopefully he does not at all this season, go down, that Hendon's going to step in. You are wrong. He's not doing that. It'll be Teddy Bridgewater. Hendon is not going to play at all this year, and he should not. The only time you will see Hendon Hooker, in my eyes, would be next preseason. That's it. Yeah. I don't see a scenario, Sam, they throw him out there. Let's say at the end of the year, I'm just saying this just to say it hypothetically, they rest players. No, he's not going out there. Let's say Jared goes down. No, he's not going out there. But it is nice to see him back. Finally being able to practice with other people and put on shoulder pads.
Oh, it most certainly is. And I think whether fair or not, there are some people, including myself to some extent, who have watched the games that Jared Goff has played, where I would say, without a shadow of a doubt, 3 of the last 5 have been pretty bad in a lot of ways, besides for the last 4 minutes of the Bears game. And even, as I said before, that Raiders game, he threw a pick 6, and that offense struggled at times, especially in the red zone, to get touchdowns instead of field goals. You look at Hendon Hooker, there obviously are going to be concerns. Third-round quarterbacks, that's something that the success rate isn't very high. I would just say that there have been some exceptions, like Russell Wilson, for example, or even Dak Prescott in the 4th round, guys like Tom Brady, Matt Hasselbeck, who are in later rounds. And I understand those are anomalies, but still, I'm not ready to just say Brad Holmes wasted a draft pick or anything like that. And that's the thing. Hendon Hooker, if he weren't hurt, he probably would have been drafted higher, and he does seem to have some of the traits that Jared Goff does not have. I mentioned Jared Goff has basically no mobility. If you collapse the pocket on him, he is basically going down. He can't really extend plays, which you saw very, very often. You saw it in the Packer game, and you definitely saw it in the Baltimore Ravens game. A guy like Hendon Hooker, if he can develop, if he can be in this offense for this year and then this offseason and the next year, maybe you could see a guy like him taking over and being able to be the future starter of this team. Because when it also comes to Hendon Hooker, as much as we don't always want to talk about it, this is reality. Jared Goff is under contract for 1 more year. And Jared Goff is probably going to ask for an extension that is at the absolute minimum, $42 to $45 million a year. And Hendon Hooker would be on a rookie contract. And with Hendon Hooker, you already see some of the foundational pieces around the Detroit Lions. And I'm not saying that Hendon Hooker is the quarterback of the future or anything like that for sure, but you got guys like Panay, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Aiden Hutchinson, who seem that they're going to be mainstays and stars on this team for many, many years to come. and they're under their rookie contract for now, but not for long. You know, you want to have a guy in theory that you can surround them with more talent and not have a quarterback take up that much of their salary cap unless they are the elite of the elite. And Jared Goff is not quite that.
I would go as far as to say, Sam, that the Detroit Lions offensively are one of the better situations for any rookie quarterback or any quarterback period. I think what Jared Goff has around him, I'm not going to say it's the 49ers. I think that's the best for any quarterback. Brock Purdy's in that system, and he's playing really well, but that's the best situation. You could go with other teams, the Eagles, with that offensive line. I think the Lions are up there in situations. You're what you come into, the best backfield duo in the NFL. Arguably the best offensive line, a tight end who's already top 3 at his position his rookie year statistically, and then you have a wide receiver 1 who's a top 7, top 8 wide receiver in the NFL right now. You have other guys, pieces around him. Jameson, you have so many options there, and you have Ben Johnson as your OC, who's a quarterback guru. So. And we'll see how long he stays, to be honest with you. But regardless, it is one of the better situations for anybody to come in and play in. So for Hendon Hooker, whether he's good or not, we'll find that out. The coaches will find that out. Although we're high on him and we like Hendon Hooker a lot. And again, I think he's a little bit of an exception for being a third-round pick because I think if he wasn't injured, there's a chance he could have went in the first round. I mean, Will Levis went at the top of the second, and Will Levis didn't really show much in college. But he's panning out in the NFL. But Hendon has a better resume in college, and he went in the third round. So the age thing is real, being 25. I get all that. He'll be 26, I think, in January. I have to double-check that. But he'll be 26 next season. I do believe there's a lot of potential with Hendon Hooker, with what his arm talent. I find myself probably once a week at least watching Tennessee highlights his final year. Just watching Hendon Hooker, man. He's got a live arm. He does, and he's mobile. He's got all those things you check off when you talk about a quarterback. Leadership. He's a good dude. He doesn't have a big ego. He's competitive though, and that's what I like about Hendon Hooker. But JB, what do you think about this whole thing with Hendon Hooker?
Man, I am just happy to see. Look, Lucas.
He's hyped up too.
Sorry, fellas, nature called.
Lucas knows too, but I'm happy to see Hendon Hooker at least get out there to practice a little bit. And I understand that we're not trying to replace Goff right now, but we like to see that he's out there at least trying, at least cooking up something that we could see potentially in the future. You still got Goff for another year. And I understand the nature of the beast, and I know this is a business. I understand the contract. You don't want to sit here and just give him all this money and then he not produce. But I say you sit here, you just ride out what you have in Jared Goff, and then, come to a contract, talks at the end of the season. See where we're at. Because if you have to pay him more, then you just have to pay him more. I think he can live with that. But I don't think there is a way that we can just sit here and just be like, oh, Hendon Hooker's our future right now. Let's just absolutely get rid of Goff. Don't do that.
And that's where comments like this, I think, are a little misinformed. Silent Service says, this freaking show is always trying to replace Goff. WTF. Sam, I want to ask you this, because you've done this show. I mean, we've done this for a while now. When have we tried to replace Goff, besides now bringing up Hendon Hooker and talking about his potential? Did we ever bring up a free agent quarterback or who we should trade for? Did we ever do that?
No, we don't bring up replacing Goff. It's just the reality is that Jared Goff right now, the key word is right now, is on a friendly contract. But it's not going to be that way forever. And furthermore, Jared Goff is on a friendly contract right now, and guys like Panay, Aiden Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and even guys like Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs, Brian Branch, who I think have proven to be like all rookie level players, are all on rookie contracts, and Jared Goff is on a team friendly deal, but not forever, because I'll tell you what, Jared Goff, I do think that he is going to right the ship to some extent to end the year. I don't think he's going to have a 2-game stretch where he's going to turn the ball over 6 times again. He's going to put up numbers to end the year, and he'll probably put up numbers next year. But does that mean that you want to sign him to a $45 or $50 million a year extension? And I didn't even really mention in my opening monologue that
$50 million?
No, thank you. That is served for the elite of the elite. And Jared Goff, there is no circumstance where I think he's a $50 million quarterback. But with Hendon Hooker, I didn't even talk about my opening monologue about his arm talent. I mean, right now you could make a good argument that he's got a higher ceiling. This offense has a higher ceiling than even it has with Jared Goff, especially considering, at least for the first couple of years, if they let Jared Goff walk after his contract is up, you'd have 2 years of him on a rookie deal with the ability to pay some of the guys like Panay and Amon-Ra and Aiden, and then add other pieces. We shall see. I mean, it's not a guarantee or anything like that, but when I mentioned other later round picks that have panned out, as of right now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen like this. Even a guy like Brock Purdy has been a rousing success at this point, and nobody would argue that and I think that Hendon Hooker is more talented than Brock Purdy. It's a lot of hypotheticals,
Yes.
but still.
A lot of hypotheticals, and that's why I want people to understand here. Some of these comments, Galloping Lake, this show has been trying to get rid of Goff since he came to Detroit. That's incorrect, except for the first half of the season. Then it was extend Goff. Now, and by the way, you can't group shows together, right? There's other shows that have always wanted to replace Goff, and then there's guys like us who have been honest about Goff. I've been consistent about Goff. He's a guy you can win playoff games with. He's a guy that you can win your division with. And I've mentioned that a bunch of times. I even made the argument that last year he was the second best quarterback in the NFC.
He was.
Like, I'm giving this man praise, but apparently I want him replaced. You know what I do want? If a better option presents itself, I'm taking it. I am. For cheaper. That's how I feel. That has nothing to do about hating Goff. And that's the thing, Lucas. Apparently, if you aren't on board with paying this man $45.50, you hate Goff. For me, it's if you have a chance to upgrade, I'm interested. I like the Lions.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
And I've said it once, I said it twice, I'll say it 3 times. You look around the teams in the NFC. If you want to keep and hold Jared Goff to that elite quarterback money, that is okay. If that's what you want to do, that's okay. At the end of the day right now, nothing's in concrete. It's all based on opinion. But for me, when I look at it, I look at the 49ers. Elite team with a very solid quarterback behind him to make that quarterback look damn near elite. The Cowboys, elite team with a solid quarterback that Dak Prescott can, at times, can look borderline elite if he's playing at home against a bad team. And then you go to the Philadelphia Eagles. Elite team, elite roster. With Jalen Hurts, when he first came in the league, he was a solid quarterback, but now they developed him into an elite quarterback. If you put Goff and you pay him more than these guys, and then you can't supply him with the elite weapons around him to stop the elite weapons around Brock Purdy, Jalen Hurts, and Dak Prescott,
you're in trouble.
Now you're relying on Jared Goff to go in there and beat those guys in big games, not single-handedly, but a lot of the weight is on his shoulders. In my opinion, the best thing for the Detroit Lions to do long-term, ride out Goff's contract. While you're doing that, build pieces around him, take smart picks in the draft, try to sign a big name or two in free agency on the defensive side of the ball. And then if you can see that he is clearly not going to take you to the Super Bowl with all these pieces, you trade Goff, you put in Hooker, and then when you get those assets for Goff, well, now you have a full team to build around Hendon Hooker. And guess what? If he does not work, you have an elite team that you can start plugging quarterbacks into. And you can say that's crazy, but look at the 49ers. Look at Philly. They all have elite rosters where even if you have like a meh quarterback, which I'm sorry, Jared Goff, the way he's been playing last month of the season, has been playing like slightly above a meh quarterback, and they're still winning games. So think what happens if you have a quarterback with true elite potential that can develop within that system. I think that's the best way to do it because you're building it organically for a long time.